You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZWLP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Extension Hour. I'm Amy Ressler, County Extension Agent for Family and Community Health. And this is the Extension Hour where we talk about our people, our programs, our partnerships. I'm just really excited today to have one of my favorite people is Jodie Schrier. And Jodie is here. We're going to talk. So we have Kim and Jud Hess in the room with us too. And we're going to visit with them just a little bit later. But we're going to just kind of start out with Jodie. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the many things that you do.
Well, it depends on the day, Amy. You know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you for inviting us. It was, you and I go way back to our United Way days and workplace wellness. So this is a real treat for me to be doing this with you today, and of course with Jud and Kim as well. Okay, so a little bit about me. I've lived in the area for a bazillion years. Primarily, I think folks would mostly recognize me as a choreographer. So I do a lot of shows, choreographed shows for the Owen Theater. I have done Creighton Theater shows as well, but mostly at the Owen. Mm-hmm. And I am an instructor at Bonnie's Dance Studio in the Woodlands. And this particular hat that I'm wearing these days is the producer for Hope for the Holidays. And, obviously we'll talk about that today. So in general, that's kind of who I am and what I do. And yeah.
So one of the reasons why you are one of my favorite people is, first of all, your enthusiasm. And then secondly, you were just, you want to help people, and you just find ways to help wherever you're at.
Oh,
so,
well, thank you. It is fun. Well, you too. So this is why we get along, Amy.
That's right. Okay, so we mentioned it. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Hope for the Holidays. Tell me, what is that? What does that mean?
So Hope for the Holidays has its own little story. It's probably a little bit too long to get on the radio here, but basically it is a classic variety Christmas family show. So if people think of back in the day when Bob Hope Special, the Andy Williams Special, all of these shows that were just, so adored and admired by people nationwide on television, that's basically the foundation of the show. So we are including the handprint of Montgomery County, meaning that the individuals that are involved on the stage, as well as behind the scenes and the volunteers, all are in the Montgomery County area. This year, we've actually been able to expand that out a little bit because of the Cassidy Joined for Hope school clubs. And Kim and Jud will talk about that in a little bit. But because we have so many high schools that are creating these Cassidy Joined for Hope clubs, we wanted to get them involved in the show as well. So the show will consist of professional vocalists, again, folks in the area, most of which who are recording artists. And we've got dancers, phenomenal dancers. We've got a professional circus act. So when you think of Cirque du Soleil, that's what we're going for. Nice. And they are absolutely amazing. It's Kai Circus Performance out of Houston. They're going to be involved. Just all kinds of wonderful things to really just to, touch on the joy and the happiness that the holiday season brings. Yeah, and all the while, 100% of the proceeds go right back to Cassidy Joined for Hope.
Okay. So not only is it a great entertainment event, a really feel-good showcase of community talent, but it's also for a really good purpose.
Absolutely.
So fundraiser to help Cassidy Joined for Hope.
Yes.
Like you said, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned some of the shows. You also, what do you need to make this happen? How do people find out about it?
Well, we actually have social media pages. So the Cassidy Joined for Hope, as well as Hope for the Holidays, has a Facebook page. We have an Instagram page, and all of the content is placed on there. So this is the exciting part. This, now that we're getting into the nuts and bolts of preparing for the show, we're going to start putting snippets of the show on there. Just tiny little sneak peeks of all of the performers rehearsing.
Okay.
So just to kind of give everyone a taste of what's to come on December 4th, and we have volunteers that are going to help us in terms of getting the information out. We will be having some promotional pieces, flyers and posters. So we would love for the local community to, let us know if they would like to have a poster at their place of business. That would be great. And also really our sponsors and our donors. So in year one, the first year we did this was in 2018. The plan was to do it every other year, and obviously 2020 came along and everything went dark. But in 2018, we knew we had a great show. We knew we had some solid performers. We had amazing folks that were volunteering and jumping in and just, without hesitation, helping in whatever capacity they were able. Probably midway through the show, our wonderful friend Nicole Gauthier, whom you know, was actually helping us with our funding, and she stepped backstage, and I will never forget. I was watching from the wings, and she said, "Do you want to know the number that we've already hit halfway through?" And when she told me, I was stunned. I was stunned. Well, fast forward to January when all the numbers came in, we were blessed to have raised over $43,000 year one. I think we were all shocked. Kim and Jud will probably mention that later, but to me, it screamed volumes that this community loves this foundation. They see the value that it brings. They see the impact that it's making, and they wanted to step forward and say, yes, let's go. So all of us were so humbled and so gracious for the support of this community that they put toward the Cassidy Joined for Hope Foundation. And as a result, both Jud and Kim have been amazing stewards in using the funds appropriately and certainly leveraging the relationships that are here already and helping the existing resources as well as creating new ones for mental illness. Did I answer that question? That was a long-winded question.
No, it's
answer.
Great. No, you did it.
I kind of went
Awesome job.
everywhere.
And I totally expect that from Jodie because you're just bursting with enthusiasm and energy, and you've got so many ideas in your head.
Stay focused.
Okay, yes. So speaking of focus, what day? Do we
Okay.
have a date?
Yes, so it's going to be Saturday, December 4th.
Okay.
We have two shows. We have a 2 o'clock matinee and a 6 o'clock evening show. And what's really cool about this one, obviously all of our great performers, but we have two special guests that are going to be in the show this year. Dr. Mark Merle, who is the high school principal at College Park, which is where the show is being held, and that was Cassidy's school, or high school, where she was a cheerleader there. We also have Judge Wayne Mack. And Judge Wayne Mack, who, we just adore him. He has been by Kim and Jud's side since the very beginning and has truly been an instrumental force in helping this foundation get off the ground, providing his support. So we felt that, especially through 2020, he's got a lot of wonderful insight. And I thought, you know what, I would love to have him put his thumbprint on this show as well and raise awareness however he deems appropriate. But I think too, he's very passionate about the teens in not just teens, everyone in this area, but when it comes to teen suicide, he's just got a huge heart. So he's going to be in the show, the 6 o'clock show, and Dr. Merle will actually be at the 2 o'clock and the 6 o'clock. So we're just going to have Nicole come out and talk to them for just a little bit and give our audiences just a little bit of information about mental illness and suicide in our county.
So is Judge Mack going to sing or dance or both?
I don't know. Judge Mack, if you're watching and listening, we would love to have him sing and dance. Yes, I'll prepare something for him.
Or he's going to be more like an MC, right?
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know. That's a good idea. We're going to plant that seed, Amy.
Okay, so Saturday, December 4th.
Yep.
2 shows.
Yep.
At what time?
2:00 and 6:00.
All right. And then how do people, do they get tickets? What
Yes.
is it? How do they just show up at the door?
Yes. So
Both.
this time we're going to make it a little bit easier. There's an online platform, and Kim and Jud can talk about this later. It's a new platform that is through the Cassidy Joined for Hope Foundation. So they'll be able to order their tickets online. Is that correct? They're going to, yes. Okay. They'll be able to order their tickets online. Make it super simple. Our sponsors are going to get premium seats. So we have a reserved section for our sponsors and donors at both shows. But everything will come out. I think we're going to start putting the link on our social media pages and the Cassidy Joined for Hope website probably October 1st, around October 1st. Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of sponsors, you mentioned you need some.
So we need sponsors. Sponsors make the world go around, as far as I'm concerned. We cannot put this show on without our sponsors and donors. They were tremendously instrumental in 2018 in our first show. Again, just the outpouring of support that we had was staggering. I was just so humbled by that. We need that again. And these are things that will help pay for the, just the overall cost of putting this show together. All of our actors, all of our singers, all of our dancers are donating their time and talent. So we have to, the microphones, the batteries for the microphones to go through 2 shows, the lighting, all of the marketing, the backdrops, the music rights, it just goes on and on and on when you put on a production.
Sure.
So yes, if there's anyone out there that would love to sponsor the show, we'd love to hear from them. And they'll actually get their name not only in the program book, but also mentioned with our mistress of ceremony. She will announce them and give them a thank you announcement at the beginning of each show from the stage.
Great. I'm really excited. I went to the one in 2018 and I thought that it was awesome. So I'm looking forward to the next one. So we're going to take a break, but we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about what the benefactor of this fundraiser is. So Cassidy Joined for Hope, and Kim and Jud will join us for that. But we're going to take a little break. We'll be right back after this. This is the Extension Hour, where we talk about our people, our programs, our partnerships, and we're so happy to be able to partner with Jodie and Kim and Jud and the Behavioral Health and Suicide Prevention Task Force. We'll talk more about that too. And but we're going to take a break and we'll be back. Okay.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
From the beginning, the main purpose of the Cooperative Extension Service has been to change human behavior by teaching people how to apply the results of scientific research. By utilizing a holistic, multi-level approach, Extension family and community health programs encourage health and well-being for everyone, addressing values, concerns, and needs with reliable science-based information. Extension programs help people lead healthier lives. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Welcome back. This is the Extension Hour. We talk about our people, our programs, our partnerships. Some of the things that we've been doing in Extension is working on some mental health related education, and so we've got lots of things that we can offer for that. But we also do partnerships, and so we just heard from Jodie where she talked about Hope for the Holidays, and we've also had connections through the Behavioral Health and Suicide Prevention Task Force, which is another thing that we've participated in as the Extension Service. But Jodie talked about Hope for the Holidays, and we wanted to focus a little bit more on what the reason for having Hope for the Holidays is. So, as she said, it's a fundraiser for Cassidy Joined for Hope. So we have Kim and Jud Hess with us today. So I just kind of jumped right in, but you guys introduce yourself to begin with.
Yes, I'm Jud Hess, the Vice President of Cassidy Joined for Hope, and I've lived in this area probably for about 35 years. I was a physical therapist at the Woodland Sports Medicine Center for almost 30 years, and I'm retired now and just, doing things around the house for Kim more than anything else.
Doing my to-do list.
and helping her with the program, as far as Cassidy Joined for Hope. And just wanted to let her know how proud I am for, working on this so hard every day, And then also for Jodie, just thankful for the, Hope for the Holidays. It's just been the best fundraiser that we've had for Cassidy Joined for Hope, and gives us a chance to help a lot of the kids that really need it.
Kim, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure.
Evidently, you're Jud's boss. That's your first title.
Add that to my resume.
He thought he was retired.
Exactly.
Jud.
I'm Kim Hess, the president of the Cassidy Joined Foundation, and my former job was I'm an architect, and so I had worked with for Ken Anderson and Associates for 20-something years. They're an architect firm in the Woodlands, and the majority of the work that I did was with the Woodlands Development Company. So I had a real fun and interesting career helping master plan a lot of the Woodlands commercial zones and stuff, so that was really fun. But now I am also retired, and other than being Jud's boss, I work primarily on the foundation for the Cassidy Joined for Hope.
So when we Hope for the Holidays sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very entertaining. But the whole purpose really is Cassidy Joined for Hope was not a fun or
No.
a happy. So tell us a little bit about some background. Let's first, Cassidy Joined for Hope is the name of a foundation organization. Tell us how that happened, and then
Sure.
the background of it.
So we lost our daughter, Cassidy, to suicide just 5 days before Christmas in 2015. And her story is, it's one of those where it's just hard to believe that, we could lose someone like her to suicide. She did not show any signs. She was one of the happiest, sweetest, kind-hearted person ever. She was a junior at College Park High School. She was on the varsity cheer squad. She had great friends who supported her and loved her deeply. She had a great family that she could have gone to us that would support her through everything. She was very connected in her church group, and yet she didn't open up to anyone and let anyone know that she was hurting. And so when that day came, it just took us all by surprise, and and it was just our world came to an end right in a matter of seconds. So that was a tough year. We know that our community lost at least 6 students to suicide in 2015, and it was just, and no one was talking about it. Even after Cassidy, there was another life lost to suicide between Christmas and New Year's. Before Cassidy, someone a week before Cassidy lost their life. So it was just a silent epidemic that no one was talking about, and we knew that we had to do something. We had to do more, and we couldn't continue to let other families go through this pain. So we were transparent and open from the very beginning about what we were going through. From the very beginning, we asked for prayers because Cassidy was on life support for 6 days, and so we just poured out to the community and asked the community to pray for her for a miracle. And so we just opened up our lives and our stories and our hearts to our community, and they rallied around us during that 6 days. Unfortunately, we didn't get the miracle we prayed for, but I think something else came of it, and it was that this community came together and decided that we, as a community, need to do something to fight this epidemic. Shortly after, in May, I was asked to speak at a community event that was put on by Memorial Hermann, who Jud had worked for, and the Woodlands Development Company, who I had worked for, and we held a community event at our church, and over 1,500 people showed up. So I was asked to share our story. Wayne Mack was there. He spoke, and after I shared Cassie's story and our pain, it almost opened up the doors for so many other families to break the silence and come out and share their stories and their pain and to get help. It really was a lot bigger of a problem in our community than we ever knew. I mean, I knew, parents started reaching out to me after they heard Cassie's story, and they were telling me about how their children were struggling, how they were struggling, how they were never able to talk about it before, and thanking us for opening the conversations. And so seeing that our community, is Montgomery County is one of the leading communities in suicides. So we knew we had to do more. So that's where the foundation started, is after realizing the call is needed and someone's got to step up and do something about it. And so one of the first things that we knew is that the teens had to be the voices for each other, and they have to, be the light for each other too. And they have to recognize the signs whenever they see that someone may be struggling. They have to be able to ones, because sometimes they're the first, line of defense, the students and the teachers and the coaches. And so we knew that it was important for those kids to get the message into the schools and to break the silence in the schools. So luckily, College Park High School allowed us to do just that. So we started our first Join for Hope Club at College Park High School. And it's a student-led organization to do just that, to remove the stigma about mental health, all mental health, and talk about suicide so you can prevent it. And so they're doing a great job just spreading the messages in their schools. And now we have 7 clubs. And so, it's spreading because I know the schools are seeing a need for it as well.
So Joined for Hope, is that a bigger foundation organization, or tell us a little bit about that name?
Yeah, so it's maybe it was kind of the cart before the horse. Yeah. The club came first, and then the foundation came second, because the clubs started growing. We're like, wow, we need a foundation to support these clubs. So we were trying to name the one at College Park, and we wanted Cassidy's initials in it, CJH. Her name is Cassidy Jade Hess. And we had College Park, so we had the Cavs, and they wanted to join the Kids for Hope. So we had Cavs Join for Hope. So, and then the next school came on, which was Concordia, and they are Satyrs Join for Hope. Willis or Cats Join for Hope. And so the umbrella foundation over all these clubs is Cassidy Joined for Hope.
Okay.
People have asked me, where'd y'all come up with that name?
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a club format. So tell us a little bit about how that format works. So they meet after school, during school. What kind of activities do they do?
They typically, most of them meet after school. I think some of the private schools are able to meet during school, and it's just completely up to the club. We let the kids in the school run the club. We're here to support them financially and to help them bring in speakers and to help plan activities for them. But they usually meet, I know College Park is once a month. I think Rose Hill is twice a month. And then they have officers, that meet with the sponsors in between those times. But they are planning activities for example, September is National Suicide Prevention Month. So the whole month of September, these clubs will be doing things to just spread the awareness throughout the school. One of the big things that they all do is have a Purple Out football game. Similar to, the Pink Out games for breast cancer awareness in October. Well, one of the colors for suicide prevention is purple. And so we have Purple Out games. And so we help fund like purple pom-poms and all of that to just encourage the student body to all wear purple in the stands and so forth. And of course, they'll make an announcement before the game and during halftime about what this means. The purple represents suicide prevention, and our Cavs Join for Hope are, leaders in their school to help prevent losing another student to suicide. And we brought in guest speakers. We've helped find them. And, if we need to fund a guest speaker to come to these clubs, we do that. We've trained these clubs in suicide prevention training. In the past, we've done Assist, which is a 2-day training. We've done Talk Saves Lives. And then I'm also trained to deliver It's Real and Talk Saves Lives through American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. It's a 45-minute program that they can sit through and learn. So we feel training them to learn the signs of suicide ideation is so important on the preventative side.
Right. So if someone is interested in a Joined for Hope group, either at a school that already has one, or maybe, other schools can also participate, how do they do that?
Absolutely. They can go to our website. We have a page for the clubs on our website, and there's some information. They can download some information and submit a form to us, and we'll email us straight from that website, and we'll contact you, and we would love to get them set up. We have a binder that's ready to go and hand over to any club that will walk them through the whole. Yeah, that's right. We're trying to make it simple. And so we're just here to support them in any way.
Okay. And so we'll have the website in the show description, but for people that are maybe driving or listening that don't see the description, what is the website?
It's CassidyJoinedforHope.com.
Okay. Easy
Pretty
enough.
easy.
Yep. So, and just for some of us that are slow, Cassidy, go ahead and spell it out for us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
No, it's okay.
CASSIDY, joined, JOINED, for Hope, HOPE.com.
Perfect. Yeah. Sometimes websites like have a 4, and the
Right.
number 4 is have a 4,
Yes.
and it's,
Yes.
and it shouldn't matter if they're capitalized or
Nope.
not. So,
Nope.
okay, perfect. So you guys are doing some great work. Judd, do you want to add anything to that about the foundation, the clubs?
No, it's as far as being a parent of suicide, it's a club that nobody wants to be in for sure. But I see so many kids that are helped every time Kim speaks. It just makes a huge difference just to know even that we helped one, and it seems like every time there's at least one.
Yeah, and like you said, to shed light on it, and
Right.
so that people
Right.
don't feel alone, and kids don't feel like there's nowhere to go, or that it's inevitable.
And I offer to any school or PTO group or anyone that wants to have me and some, I usually bring some other people to come speak to them with me. Judge Mack has spoken with me on many occasions, but we want to speak to the parents and the teachers and to, educate them on all of this as well. So,
Yeah. So Join for Hope. There is hope out there. And so we mentioned, too, the Behavioral Health and Suicide Prevention Task Force, and that's not a foundation. It's just a group of people and organizations that are kind of working together in the county, and we don't have enough time to talk about that in this segment, but we want to talk about in the next segment. So we've got hope for the holidays. We've got these clubs, but what are some practical things that people who are struggling or know someone who's struggling, what can we share with them? So we are going to do that when we come back for the next segment, but we're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after this.
okay.
What can the Better Living for Texans program do for you? You can learn how to increase your consumption of fruits and vegetables, choose foods that are relatively inexpensive and good to eat, make your food dollars last longer, prepare quick, nutritious meals, help your children learn how to eat healthier snacks, and much more. Our program is committed to helping people like you improve your health through providing research-based nutrition education in a friendly, cost-free, and relaxed environment. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Hey y'all, it's DJ Mike from Dance Time in Texas. Join me Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. as I count down the top 10 Texas Red Dirt songs that are packing the dance floor. I'll be featuring local artists and the story behind the hits, shows in the area, as well as new songs that make you want to dance. It's Dance Time in Texas with DJ Mike on Lone Star Community Radio, 104.5 KCZW and 106.1 KZCC, Conroe, Texas, or online, irlonestar.com.
Welcome back. This is the Extension Hour. We've got Jodie Schrier, we've got Kim and Jud Hess. We're talking about Hope for the Holidays and Cassidy Joined for Hope. But really, what we're talking about is helping people with mental health challenges, issues, and helping to minimize the stigma. So that's, I think, part of the issue or the problem, and why some of those things have happened is such a surprise, because it's not something that we talk about comfortably, and we talk about physical health a lot. So you're coughing, you should go to the doctor. You should you're not feeling well, you go to the doctor. But when you're not feeling well mentally, we're just just buck it up and just deal with it. And it's all in your head. Just move on, grow up, or whatever. I mean, there's so many unkind things that we say to people when they express things about mental health, and that's part of the problem, part of what you're trying to remedy through Cassidy Joined for Hope. So as you mentioned, there's lots of resources out there. Part of what you're doing with the clubs is helping people talk about that. One of the things that is helpful is a mental health first aid, and we all went through a mental health first aid certification, which is kind of the idea of it's like physical regular first aid, right? So when you see someone having a crisis, how can you help them until they can get to professional help? So we want to talk just a little bit about that, but just kind of in general. So for people that are listening, you see someone that you think that might be struggling, you know, and sometimes there could be just like little things that, small indicators that, you know, nobody, I don't say nobody, it's, few people probably say, you know, I'm having a breakdown, I need help. Usually there's like little signs in those kind of things. Yeah.
Right.
So in the mental health first aid class, one of the things that we learned was an acronym, ALGEE. So let's talk a little bit about that. A is for assess. Yep. So, Jud, you see someone having you think you see something that going on. So how would you assess that?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is just, talk to them and, find out what's going on in their situation. And, one of the things I learned from the class morning thing is just, have empathy more than anything else. Just understand kind of what they're going through. And then, of course, some of the main things you want to find out is, are they thinking about suicide? And there is nothing ever wrong with asking the question, are you thinking about suicide? So many times there's a misconception that might make them think about it. If they've been thinking about it, they already have.
Yeah, you're not going to put that idea in
you're
their
not
head
going to
by
put that
saying
idea
it.
in the head and saying it. So, and then the other things that, I see is, keep them safe more than anything else until, the next step. Make sure before you leave, they're safe.
Right. And then listen non-judgmentally.
Yes.
Yeah.
The next thing. Kim, you want to talk about that one?
Right. I think so many of us, whenever we want to help someone, we want to fix them right then and there. And I think that kind of deters a lot of people from even reaching out to help someone because they know they don't know how to fix them. So our job isn't to fix them, it's to listen non-judgmentally, like you just said.
Right. And I think the non-judgmental part of it is really important. And sometimes we have to watch kind of how we say things because, if you're feeling fine and you haven't experienced mental illness, you may be like, yeah, whatever, just like I said earlier, just kind of
Just
get over
dismiss
it.
Right.
But that can come across very judgmentally, and that's one of the reasons why people won't open up.
Yeah, and I think they just want to feel heard, and their feelings are validated. So, if we just sit there and listen and don't give them advice, because unsolicited advice,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I always say God gave us two ears, 2 eyes, 1 mouth. We should use those proportionately.
yes.
So sometimes, whether it's just being a good friend or someone who's in crisis, just shut up and listen for a little bit.
Right.
Okay, and so G is for give, support. You want to talk about that, Jodie?
I remember when this all happened with Cassidy and Kim and I had lunch one day, and I just remember thinking, we were at a table eating, so we were closer than this. I could literally hold her hand. I was holding her hand, and thinking, I'm physically close. I'm right here with her, and yet I have no idea what her world is like now. I'm so far removed from that. And all through this process, watching Jud and Kim go, throughout this community and be so transparent and so brave in telling their story, it lends itself to just that. They're giving their time. They're giving their, like you said, their listening ears. They're not for us to get out there and not just run our mouth and talk and try to talk someone out of what they're feeling, because regardless of how we feel, it's not a right or wrong, for these individuals, and I keep teens in mind, but to let them know that whatever this is that they're experiencing is not something that in their mind, I would just hope to impress upon them, this doesn't mean this is a life sentence. In giving them your time, giving them, resources, the many valuable resources that are just right here in Montgomery County. In that regard, I think it just gives them tools in their arsenal to help them. And like Kim just said, I don't have the capacity to fix that. That's going to have to come from the individual. But at that moment in time in their life, for whatever reason, they don't have the capacity to think that way. So I think it's up to us as a community to rally around them and just give of our time. If even if it means, if you have to physically drive them to someone that can help them, a therapist, I think that goes a long way, further than you would imagine.
Right. Which kind of leads us to the next E, to encourage them to get professional help.
Yes.
So as much as you guys have, I mean, I would consider you guys experts, right? But still,
We're not
like you said,
professionals.
right? Not professionals.
No.
So getting people to professional help, and just
Absolutely.
you know, and how would you go about doing that? What would you say to folks?
Well, my first call is to Sherry at Mosaics of Mercy. So that's a nice plug for them, and they are a wonderful resource for our community on mental health, to helping you find the correct mental health resource for whatever your situation is. Or they work with you on finding out your insurance, what the crisis situation is for you or your child or a loved one. And they go through their vetted resources that they have in their database, and they refer you to 3 different ones that will take your insurance. And so they are phenomenal. I mean, because that's one of the number one questions I get from so many people when they reach out to us. They tell me that their child is struggling. What do I do? And, I know what not to do to dismiss it. I mean, and I always tell them how I'm so proud of them for at least recognizing that your child needs help and then getting them the help, because I think that's a big problem, not only for kids that are sometimes afraid to reach out for help, but sometimes parents, they haven't removed that shame or stigma with mental health, and they don't want to acknowledge that their child needs help because their child is perfect. So I think just kind of getting over that obstacle of knowing that it's okay to not be okay. I know we say that a lot, but it's so true and it's so simple, because none of us are okay all the time.
Right. And like I said earlier, I mean, we don't hesitate to say, oh, you should see a doctor about that if
I know.
you've got
Right.
a cough or a rash or whatever. But for some reason we hesitate to say, hey, maybe you should.
Yeah.
So you do have to be careful about that, because I was just thinking the way that I was saying that could come across like judgmentally, like, you should see a doctor about that.
Right.
And that is not how I mean it at all.
Right.
But just acknowledging that we all need help.
And there is help out there. There's
Yeah.
so much help out there. We just got to tap into it.
And so just to reiterate, Mosaics of Mercy is the name of the organization, and their whole
Yes.
purpose is to help people find resources, because mental health challenges are challenging enough the way they are. It can be really overwhelming, and you don't know where to find
It
help
is.
and where to go. And
And so many people, their first step is to take them to the ER, and that's not where you want to take someone who has a mental health crisis.
But I know, one of the things, if it is an emergency situation, where they are, talking about harming themselves, Montgomery County, the police department, they have people trained just for suicide. I mean, they come in an unmarked car, and they're, trained to deal with this. So, I mean, make sure they're safe, if it does get to that, circumstance.
right.
And then if not, the Mosaic of Mercy definitely is the place to go after you feel more comfortable.
And then the last one that we learned at Mental Health First Aid is to take care of yourself too.
Yes.
Self-care is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because yes,
if you can't help them, if you can't take care of yourself, so yeah.
right. And obviously it can be very, very heavy.
It is.
It's a lot to deal with, just trying to help someone else. I mean, of course they're dealing with a lot, but it can bring up a lot of your own emotions and feelings and
All the triggers, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so that was kind of heavy but helpful. So assess, listen, give, encourage. Those are the kinds of some of the things that we can do. And then again, there's resources to reach out to learn more. So we're going to take one more break. We're going to come back, and then we're going to talk kind of like top 10 things. We want to find out what else is going on with Cassidy Joined for Hope, and we'll reiterate how to get into Hope for the holidays to make sure that you're in the audience for that. And then I should also mention some of the things we do in Extension. This is the Extension Hour. We talk about our people, our programs, our partnerships, and we're so excited to have you guys here. But we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Wayne Green, your host for Radio Wayne, Spoke and More. Each Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m., I'll be playing folk, singer-songwriter, Americana, blues, bluegrass, classic country, Cajun Zydeco, Celtic swing, and whatever else seems to fit. Once again, that's Radio Wayne, Spoke and More, every Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m. on Lone Star Community Radio.
We have the safest food supply in the world. Strict laws and regulations restrict the usage of hormones, antibiotics, and pesticides within our food supply. Production agriculture practices and technologies such as the use of GMOs, which is not any more or less risky than conventional crop production, has allowed American farmers to produce more food on less acres in environmentally sound ways. Find out more online at pathtotheplate.tamu.edu. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make lives better.
And welcome back. This is the Extension Hour. People, programs, partnerships with helping save lives in Montgomery County, I think is what we're doing. So we talked about Hope for the Holidays. We talked about Cassidy Joined for Hope. Just real quick, a few of the things that we do in Extension that kind of helps with those things is we do the mental health first aid training. So my coworker is a certified trainer, and that's a hybrid thing where you can do part of it online and part of it in person. We have classes that we do. It's called Stress Less with mindfulness. Just trying to help before you even get to the point of having challenges, managing everyday stress. And that kind of goes back to that self-care that we talked about before too. So Stress Less with mindfulness. And then also we have a youth mental health curriculum that we're going to be pilot testing in October through December, hoping that that's ready to go and available for schools. So it's based on social emotional learning framework. It targets aspects of mindfulness, and gets lots of activities for it, so it could be done in a school setting or a club setting, any kind of setting. So if anybody wants more information about any of those, yes.
Okay, I'm really interested in that.
Contact us at the Extension office. So our phone number is 936-539-7825. You can email. We'll have, and then of course the email address is with the show description and that kind of thing. But yeah, reach out to us. But Cassidy Joined for Hope also has some more things going on, but one of the things that we wanted to focus on before we get into, because it's busy. So Hope for the Holidays is the first thing that we talked about, and $43,000 is what was raised in 2018. Going to shatter that record this year.
That's the goal.
So where does that money go to?
That's a good question. Other than funding these school clubs and paying for a lot of the activities and events that they do, we also provide scholarships for private therapy counseling for families who can't afford it, who don't have insurance. First, we always send them to Sherry with Mosaics of Mercy to find out if they do have programs or counselors that will fit into their insurance. But when they don't, then we offer scholarships to help pay for that. Because we certainly do not want a child to not be treated simply because they can't afford it.
Right.
So that's one of the things that we do. We offer that to families. We also sponsor kids in equine therapy. So we've learned that horses can really help heal children. And they love these horses. And so we've sponsored several support groups, teen support groups through equine therapy. And now I'm so excited. We are partnering with Montgomery Independent School District, their junior high and high schools, to sponsor the kids from Montgomery High School and junior high for the whole year for equine therapy. So we're hoping to get more schools, counselors to kind of identify children in their schools to be able to offer that to more schools. And then, of course, we host speaking events, community-wide speaking events. So we bring in speakers, and we pay to bring them in sometimes. So that's one of the things that another thing that we do. And then we're excited to talk about. This is where our money's going, but an upcoming event. I'm just going to go ahead and plug it right now, I guess. October 4th, we're doing Send Silence packing. And basically, we're working with Active Minds, which is a national organization for suicide prevention. And we're bringing them in to our community to let them do this awesome display that they travel around the nation doing this on campuses. Basically, we lose about 1,100 college-age students to suicide every year. And so they bring in 1,100 backpacks, each with a story of a life lost to suicide at that age level. And they have personal items inside the backpacks. And so basically they display 1,100 backpacks around campus and let you walk through it throughout the day to visually see the impact of what's going on here. And so we're bringing that October 4th to a very to an awesome campus here. I can't name the name yet because, but we can find out more information on our website about that. So we would love to have, and we're going to have a speaking event that evening, and I'll be speaking, and some other people, professionals will be speaking as well. What else we have? September 18th is Kendra Scott has partnered with us. We're having Kendra Gibbs back to the Cassidy Joined Hope Foundation on the 18th and the 19th. I think it's 48 hours. 20% of the store, of all the sales of the store at the Market Street location, will give back to our foundation, so we can fund more therapy and scholarships and stuff. And so Jodie and I and a couple of other people and my daughter met at the Kendra Scott store, and we designed the Cassidy piece. So basically, it's the little sunshine and a purple bead, just to remind everyone to there's hope and there's always light.
So go buy jewelry.
Yeah.
And go buy jewelry.
And
That's right.
Which date is that?
That is September 18th. And we'll be out at Market Street from 12 to 2 with the table there and have resources out there. So come get some jewelry.
Yeah.
And that's just directly at that store?
Just the Market
Okay.
Street, yes.
All right.
And then
And
October,
cookies?
Cookies.
Cookies?
Yes.
Judd gets to talk about cookies.
Going to talk about cookies. Cookies for Cassidy. Chick-fil-A, they've done a great job donating to us in the past, and
Yes.
and they help the community, so much in almost anything that's asked of them. And they have good chicken sandwiches and
good
chocolate
cookies.
and chocolate chip cookies. Exactly. But the whole month of October, they're donating 20% to the Cassidy Joined for Hope Foundation. So go out and get your cookie in October.
And that's all of the Chick-fil-A's in?
No,
And
it's two. It's the College
two
Park.
different ones.
Okay.
College Park, and then also the one that
It's in
336?
Conroe on 336. I think it's
Okay.
called Marketplace. It's the one on 336 in Conroe.
The newer one.
The
So
new, yeah.
South 336. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Hope for the holidays is?
Sponsors. We just need sponsors for the shows so we can pull this off. It's going to be an incredible show. I don't want to give too much away, but boy, do we have some stuff lined up. Oh,
And tell us the date again.
December 4th at College Park High School Auditorium, 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock.
Okay, and so this show is premiering on September 10th, which conveniently, interestingly, is
World Suicide Prevention Day.
yeah. So so also the recording will be available as well. So when folks have questions about Cassidy Joined for Hope, or when we talked about the kinds of things that you can do for mental health first aid, and Hope for the Holidays, all of those, so people can go back and listen to the recordings as well, which is good. But so thank you guys for being so
thank you.
open.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
and all the work that you're doing, and thank you, Jodie, for the work you're doing. Thank you for being here today, and so we'll go ahead and wrap this show up, because I feel like we could probably talk about a lot more, and I think that there's probably more that we could share. Doing great things is events and activities is helpful, and sometimes that does turn the light on for people, but just being there for someone in their darkest hour and when they really need help, and just being prepared to be able to help folks is really important. Last words? Anything you want to say?
Just don't be afraid to reach out, because you could literally be the lifesaver for somebody and not even know it.
And I just wanted to, mention that Peyton was the president of Cassidy Joined for Hope. Just
And Peyton's
just
your
wanted to
daughter.
put that Peyton.
Yes.
Peyton is our daughter. Yes.
Yeah.
So she's a junior, and we're going to the varsity game in Bryan tonight.
Awesome.
Right.
Good.
So go CP.
That's right.
So I've got another idea. If you guys like maybe we can bring in some of Peyton and some of the other kids,
Ooh,
because
that would be
helping from
fun.
them would be good.
That
All
would
right.
be good.
Yeah.
Okay, so all excited.
That's right.
Okay, but I said we were going to wrap this show up. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back next week. This is the Extension Hour, where we talk about our people, our programs, our partnerships, right here on Lone Star Radio.